That looks like a 2024. Fancy.
David,
Why do you say that?
I heard you on the computer last night.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You were, let me put this in.
No, do what you gotta do.
End up paying substantially less than that budgeted annually. An example is we budgeted $15,000 for this year. My calculation is our share will be around a little over $9,000. That was true of every single one of the municipalities, which is why I was arguing with moving forward with this. So I just recommend that we move forward with it.
Alan, first of all, I'd like to say that great job on that. I think it was excellent. We're cutting it for first and half. What I want to make sure is we were going to give them our older car at the same,
Right.
Now, we'll value that car and then it'll get split up, is that how that would work?
I would just, yeah, I would charge them for any and all
Whatever it
expenses
is.
associated with
Okay.
it. But the car was purchased years ago.
Oh, so you're saying we'll just,
I
we'll
don't
start
see-
that way, we're
I'm
fine with it? So if there's a
It
new
remains
car-
our asset, it's not their asset, so I don't know if there's
So
any.
Richie,
basis to
just so
charge
you know,
that.
he basically needs to do my population.
Yeah, I thought-
Gibson's
yeah.
paying, I mean, we're.
Poughkeepsie alone is paying 41%.
We used to pay 15,000, we're down to 9, this is a great deal.
It is a good deal.
It's a good deal
It's a really
for
good
us. If we have to do something, we have to have animal control. And the gentleman is also a wildlife expert.
Yeah, he was certified as a wildlife person before he became an animal control officer. And in some of the towns he was doing these, by the way, he was our animal control officer from Dutchess County as well. So it's the guy that was doing this job prior that's gonna continue to be doing the job. And he, unlike any other animal control officer we've ever had, he's certified to be able to respond to somebody who says they have a raccoon in their basement or rabid animals and so forth and so on. So I think it's a really, really good, it's a really exceptional deal.
Yes, overqualified. Do
Excellent.
we have a motion?
I'll make the motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Carried. Next one is to appoint him as our animal control officer effective June 24th, which is next Monday. The salary that I've talked about is $50,000. I know that sounds like a lot, but between the 6 towns, we're probably talking about upwards of 400 calls a year.
No, we don't,
He's gonna be a
we don't
busy,
wanna lose the guy.
he's gonna be a very busy guy.
Budget-wise, we're way ahead of the game. Cut it back.
Because it's busier at certain times of year than others, and,
He's on call every
yeah,
day.
exactly.
Saturday,
So,
Sunday.
so I think it's, nevertheless, so I do have a motion to hire him, effective June 24th, that's all.
With the salary.
With the salary,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's, okay, I have a motion, do I have a second?
All in favor? Aye, all opposed, carried. Next one is a related one. When Dutchess County dropped the animal control officer portion, they also dropped the part of the contract that had to do with housing. What housing means is if, for some reason or other, the animal control officer, when dealing with an issue, has to confiscate the dog, then you have to put that and shelter it somewhere for some period of time until the owner gets it back and such. That's a separate part of their contract. I did not include that in the contract with the other towns because I felt that it made more sense for each of us to find one that was close, so that it's convenient for our residents. I mean, one of the towns is Clinton, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a shelter located in the town of Poughkeepsie if you have to come from Clinton and vice versa. And so this is an agreement for housing, with a place called Mutt's Mansion in Wappinger. I'll be honest with you, when we started looking around to find places, we didn't find a lot of places that performed this, so it's not like we had 5 or 6 different choices. This one provides what we think is a good deal, and they already service other municipalities that would have said that they do a good job. So do I have a motion to authorize me to sign this as well, please?
Motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Good. All right. Next is a request from Sandy Washburn, our Parks and Recs Director, to request for Stringham Park to be used for a soccer tournament and fundraising effort. And they're also requesting a waiver of fees, which is what we normally do. So do I have a motion to approve them using the park and waiving the fees? Second?
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next question is a request from our town justice, Sullivan Biscaglia, asking for approval to attend the 2024 New York State Magistrates Training Conference at the Sheraton in Niagara Falls. Total cost not to exceed $1,637.66. It's in September. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Carried. Next up is a request from Mike Kelly for a budget transfer from his surplus fund to general repairs. This is for paying for the repair of new decking for the Wells Drive Bridge. Wells Drive, the bridge on Wells Drive failed and has been closed since April. And the decking came in at, well, the amount is $49,670, and he's just asking to take it out of his surplus fund. Do I have a motion? Have a second? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Carried. Next up on our agenda is an update notification from the NatureScape people, but before we go to that, we received a letter from Vinny asking
Yes.
to be on it, and so I'm gonna mercifully allow you to speak before they start. I think you're asking for update on a question you asked at an earlier meeting regarding the lighting.
Yes.
I got an answer for you on that. Not quite sure how to say this. You pointed out that we collected $27,000 and that our output for the fees and bills for Central Hudson was only $23,000 and some amount, I believe. It appears that was for last year, and last year was the first year that money was being paid by the town versus the developer. And for reasons that we have not quite figured out yet, they didn't bill us for the first month or two. And so we thought the full bill for 12 months was gonna be 27,000 based on their estimates, but they haven't billed us for the full time, and we don't know whether with all the, difficulties they've had with their billing, that they're going to get around and come back and realize they should have billed us, or whether the developer actually paid them for an extra month or two, or what happened. But that's the explanation for why we didn't get all the money. The amount that we're forecasting for this year is based on our assumption that we're going to be paying for all 12 months, because we've been paying for the last 10. And the amount we used was the estimates they gave us on the actual rates that they anticipate. So while last year was off, I don't expect this year to be off, because we're gonna get billed for all 12 months, and we're gonna be billed at the rate they told us they were gonna bill us. So I don't expect there to be any discrepancy there at all.
Okay,
So that's the rationale
who
behind it.
gave up this rate?
If you bring it up and take a look at it.
From June was 2,000 and change, and December was $2,200 and change. I mean, approximately, June is.
I think
the
they're
line
all
would be
in the 2,000 range, and the reason for it varying is, I believe, based on the number of days in the month.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna pay the same for June as February. It varies somewhat within that range because of the days, I think.
It's only one day, that's all it is. It's only this one day.
And
June
the
is 30
difference,
days,
and the difference
December
is,
is 30
and the
31
difference
days.
is $29. It's $22.37 versus $22.08. It's $39.
No, look up in June, $2,081, something like that.
$2,098.
And in December it's 2,200 and change. You know, maybe somebody put those figures in together to make it look good. I don't know. Anyway, I'll send an email to.
The numbers you're getting are the numbers that of the checks we wrote to Central Hudson. Nobody's trying to make anything look good, as you put it. It's simply the invoices that we received from Central Hudson, and we wrote a check to.
So in other words,
Right, I mean, listen, Central.
No, these are
Hudson-
the actual bills that we had.
Those are what we paid.
And your comment about estimates applies to residential stuff, but it doesn't apply to this, because these things do not vary based on rates and based on usage at all.
We don't pay on usage, we pay for the whole.
It's a fixed rate.
I mean, they are a mess.
So now you wanna know what the explanation for the difference in the months is? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I would like to know what the usage of.
I can find that.
The usage.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that.
They don't, they just supposed to say it's usage.
Please don't shout out from the audience, sorry.
But this contract is not based on usage. Oh, no, I know.
And the other thing too, the sidewalk, I would like to do my own sidewalk. I don't want, you said it's against the law.
Well, what we did is, we went through a whole process.
I understand that, but I
Let's finish it off.
called Dutchess County,
Yeah.
and I spoke to the legislator. The answer he gave me was, I don't get involved with town of Lagrange.
That's not true.
Then
I
it-
talked to him. You know what Mike Paul said?
I'm
Are
not
you talking
mentioning
about
names.
Mike Paul?
Look, I talked to the man, he said he doesn't want nothing to do with town of Lagrange. They make their own rules, correct? That's what's told to me.
When you're finished, I'll speak.
Yeah.
You finished? Sit down, you're done, right? I'll speak. We, if you remember correctly, I don't think you went through a whole ordeal, and we sent every person in that community a letter to attend if they wanted to change the process of the sidewalks and the snow removal. We told you by law, you would need almost 100%, was it? Rebecca, was it 100% we needed? We would need 100% or 99% of the people to agree, no one came to the meeting. That was the end of it.
You said.
That's what I said.
Then you said to me the first night we talked about that, collect signatures?
Yeah, well, that's how it started. And then we collected the signatures, then we brought.
It's not enough?
No, it's not enough.
What you said, collect
No, it
the
wasn't, you
signatures.
just forget. I'm done with this, but we went through a process, am I correct? We went through an entire process, tried to help you guys out, and nobody cares but you. Everybody else wants what's there. And you're not enough to change it.
And I don't recall how many signatures you gave us, but you definitely didn't give us signatures for every single homeowner.
Right?
I tell you what, I gave 50, I think it was 54 signatures.
It's not enough.
Out of 60.
No. And that said, a certain thing.
Christine, you must have the list. You got the list, right?
We went through
Once
this.
again,
we
it has to
voted
be
on
everybody.
We can't, we hashed it out.
I even make things very hard. You guys change
Well,
your
first of
mind all the time.
Wait a minute, we put it to bid.
I just don't think that's accurate. I think there's unfortunately, I think we're not recalling
I
what's
don't
occurred.
forget it.
We put it to bid, we got a very good price on it, I was shocked how cheap it
I
came.
don't wanna pay for snow removal. I wanna do my own sidewalk.
Sorry.
Why?
That's what you bought into.
The decision was made
Was
years
that-
ago.
I wasn't talking to you. Okay? And don't say, honey, I got.
Wow,
just-
and listen, that's enough.
That's it.
Don't just pretend, don't.
Okay, so he doesn't want answers to his questions with the way
We're
he's
done.
speaking, so I think his
You're one
ability.
person, we're done, and don't talk to our attorney like that again, you're out.
First of all, she doesn't have a nameplate on us, in that stage right there.
She's not 100.
First of all, you're done talking, and you
All
can
right,
sit down.
can I have the paper, please?
Sure. All right, without further ado, you guys are up.
Your activities are not up.
We just, last time he was able to do something that we didn't feel like.
Oh, I just fiddled with it while it worked,
And we came with.
and took credit for it.
You-
I spent most of my career doing it.
Okay, so we do, and we switch the.
Oh, wait a minute, they're all off.
Whatever we do, we do.
No, this is controlling.
No, let him, he did it last time. Just a
This is the
second.
power. This is powering them on. Wait a minute. It looks to me like they're all on, so you should be able to do your thing without these. I recommend leaving these alone.
So the only thing I didn't put was the house, so the three computers, and the operating system, especially the. Maybe something.
It's not showing up as. Well, they're on, so I don't think that's an issue. Well, no, you have to get something to, they'll, if they're not being used for some period of time. All right, just, yeah.
I don't know what your issue is. This is one computer. If not duplicate, I will move to another computer. Duplicate. And I put three computers, especially for this. And duplicate. And I have another computer. What, how did you get to this?
Here's, I don't think it's these, I think it's this connection. With no input, the strings are in.
I'm moving to the third computer. To the action. No sauce, right? This is
Kind of reminds me of the Three Stooges. That's not Susan Condon. This is what it looks like when the town strings your business along and they have you keep coming to meetings and they're never going to do anything for you. This exact business is going up in East Fishkill, and when they went to a meeting last month, they said, "How can we help you get this done?" This company's been here for about a year trying to get this done.
It's really wonderful, so we can use one.
I'd have to have everybody come a little closer.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
One big happy family, why don't we?
You're not changing what's around the lake in the original proposal, right?
We value first.
What? But it's not, that's staying the same, correct?
No, actually, the only thing is with better. This is our most popular debate.
That's all right, I'll listen. Okay. I actually have a pretty decent view from here, yeah.
Okay, so the only part so what we do in the front?
I don't know, I can do from here, you guys can see that? No, right?
No, it's
Yeah?
not the details.
How about you come close to the whoever wants to see?
Because last time you saved us.
I'm the guy that affects the most, so I want to be up front, thank you.
I'll try to follow what you're doing.
It's only about
HDMI working, and I don't know why. It's got nothing to do with us. I managed to just turn on all four screens and they were on.
You got the best engineers.
That's
I've never had water in the
when you play with the monitor as much as you can, if you can see
No, I didn't even know tonight was going, I had a little birdie show.
Once they have it, I don't go to many of these, but once they have it.
one of the screen, I need you.
Read up on it?
I watched the whole thing.
Oh, the video of this how many?
So we're not chair.
I retired, I don't know. I got my race check, I can sit here. I'm gonna my pickleball. I got, I'm worried, prep days.
I'm sorry that I'm ready with my to be on the screen, but Michal will do her best to mimic me on 2 steps. Maybe will be a delay. And please allow yourself to interrupt me to ask this question. And sometimes we need to move from place to place because there is things that need us to touch the screen. Basically, we came today to do a project recap, number 1, especially to introduce and to touch the revised zoning amendment. And the third thing is to ask for the next step. So let's start with that further ado. We know that today, and again, we have history together, we are sitting with 490 acres actually in the project. We can see that this project is actually one more Skidmore and along 82 and 55. So first of all, we see the magnitude of the project. Why is that? Now, we wanted to bring this context of this property in the context of the zoning that existed today, zoning. Now, of course, it's small now, it's supposed to be bigger, but if I would do zoom in, we can see that already our project sits, while it's sitting on the RLB, it's actually touching the commercial, not the commercial, the business, general business district. And we are situated on the right-hand side of the economy. Now, this property that we are speaking about, we actually going to paint it in a dark green. And why dark green and not regular? Because actually, we from day one came here to before the town board, and says we want to glorify what we've been given. And this is because in the moment that I came here and I met this property, I don't know, over 18 months ago, and get in love with it, it's a breathtaking land. So there was no, it was no make sense to go and to do regular development to destroy the land. So we said, this land need to be saved. Whatever it is, it need to be done correctly. So I need to go back one step. when we met initially in September 20th, the formal first onboard in September 20th, it was when we came with 259 acres. And there is no 498. So that was in September 20th, and in that day with the neighbors, and we spoke, and then people raised their concern. Then, within 2 months, we was able to do huge jump. It was jumping to 490 acres. But still remember, our mindset is 259 acres. There is a reason why I said our mindset. But we came in November 15, and then we showed you, actually, that I believe this is, we was able to triple. I mean, we doubled the site, but we tripled the land conservation. Actually, I will tell you forward, we touched 0 of the property. And why is that? How we was able to achieve that? Because we was able to come with ecological project that utilizing a prefabrication units that sits on a pillar, 4 pillar, and some of them 6 pillar. No foundation, no construction, no destroying the land. And we was able to gather them all on the disturbed land. That land was shaped. We know what we're going to see. So we placed all the units into the disturbed land, and along already the gravel road that the mining machinery was building on. And this is very important, because actually we've done no change to the property. The screen that you see right now is actually the DNA of a nature scale crane. This project, by the way, started not in September 22, it started in January, February 22. It was took 9 months to develop the concept, how we can be the most connected to the nature. So I'm giving you the experience of the units. This is the real simulation of the design of the units with the modern units, cutting edge, smart glass, one-sided glass. And you can feel, and this is the real picture of our site. This is the unit with a picture of our site. If you walk the site, you will see these pictures. So we're showing you that this project, it's all about beautify, it's all about wellness, all about rejuvenate, all about quietness. It's not something, it's not 6 flag. It is the opposite. It is connecting with the nature, and this is what we want to give in this town. By the end of the day, it will be the name of this project where the town is. So it's not just like that. For a second, bird view eyes about what I mean disturbed lands. These are the disturbed lands. You can see it was shaded with machinery, gravel mine, and only on this disturbed land, we want to place those beautiful modern units and actually beautify it, because we're going to plant more color, more everything. So even taking a site and make it even more beautiful than we receive it, rather than freaking destroy it with any development that you can expect. So let's see where I am now. Okay, so let's do a project overview. I'm working on blind. Project overview. We have major 3 elements. The first element is upper lake. The upper lake, and again, you can see the shaved lane on the picture as much as you can because it's far. We're going to place the units along the black line. The black line is where the heavy machinery already drove, and we have no asphalt in the site. It's only gravel, because nature. So over here, you can see again, this is the real unit design laid on our site and the view of the lake. You can feel yourself sitting there and says, okay, what product by the end of the day this town board to allow to have on this magnificent land is this? Is those views, those experience what we're giving to people? The next thing, so the upper lake we decided to be for the couple. Then we're going to the lower lake. The lower lake, we said, let's give it some other variety, which is important for the strength of the project, because it's a different occupancy rate, it's a different, again, couple behave differently than family. By the end of the day, everybody here, including us, wants a successful project. So over here, we already have, instead of 650 square feet, now we are in an 800 square feet. Now it's a 1 bedroom with a loft, because kids like to climb to a loft, or 2 bedroom. And this lake, you can see that even something else comes beautiful. One thing I did not mention, between those dots, it's not what you can find in any resort out there. Every resort, usually within 5 to 10 feet, you can find a unit. So I'm open for my unit, I see the butt of this unit and this unit on this unit. No, here you have 50 to 80 feet separation between those dots. You just don't see it because this is 260 acre. So because we are all glass, smart glass, one-sided glass, you need to give the people the vision with connect with the nature. So it's not like cramming. Even this is 80 feet separation. On every 100 feet, you have actually a unit of 650 feet, which is 20 by 20, 20 by 30. It's ridiculous. So over here, because the land was mined very sharply, those units, which is modern, glass, in the trees, now they have a tree house effect. So you see the beautiful what we can give to the people. Now those units that have a full 270 degree, in the trees, now they are a treehouse, which is kept because the site allowed. The project adapts itself to the land, not the land, because we are doing zero shaping, zero foundation. Remember the foundation did before. So now we have the third element. Where the shaved land goes, shaved land meets the forest that we're not going to touch. We're going to keep everything. Remember, we said every piece of land that not be disturbed with zero nothing. So over here, we said, let's do a long stay. What is a long stay? Long stay, it's a unit, it's again, the modern units, on the edge of the forest. So the forest edge is 60 feet higher than the lake. So there is no disturbance. So they sit over there. From one hand, they have glass, smart glass, toward the lake. The other side, they have a full glass toward the mountain, that is full there. And you can take even a shower without doing. Now, another thing that you don't know, if you're doing with your hand like this, all the window becomes frosted. It's not only smart, we did a lot of technology with the model. So it's not only one-sided, it's frosted, can be blackened, and I'm not going to make you how unique design. Those units are not existing in the United States, and the highest hospitality company wants to work with us, and they actually want to license our proprietary design. I want to tell you how much unique and money invested in a new units that don't exist in the hospitality market today in the United States, period. And I can give you the name on a more confidential setting, and I can show you the airlines.
How many long stays do you have?
Sorry?
How many long stays do you have?
80, sorry. 80. It's about 65, 55, the ratio. The final number will be count because we need to put every unit and not even disturb the trees. We're not going to cut a tree to put a unit because it's a 50. One of them will be 55, one of them 78, and one, because we're going to put them along the trees, zero disturbance. So by the end of the day, it might be a lot, it's not be more than we allow, but it might be even less. Now,
And excuse me, how many total?
right now, as we came to you on the day one, 200, we are in the 200 range, but even we triple this, double the site, and triple this, we still kept it with 200. Remember, we raised the cost, the initial cost of the project by $50 million, and we did nothing. It's killing us, because by the end of the day, every project, I don't care what you said, beautiful, I like it, don't like it, don't vote, need to work. So we was able to work with all of this number. So in the middle of the site, because it's beautiful located, in the entrance from Billy Road, will be located the central facility. Central facility has 3 pictures. 2 pictures are totally connection to the nature. Again, it's a wellness rejuvenating resort. There is no arcade in this project. Now, the other picture over here, showing you a sleek, infinite pool, because we are catering for different market. We are catering for the market which is the millennial, that come in and want to be, and by the way, this infinite pool design, watching the lake below, because the central facility is higher than the lake.
What's
So-
in the central facility? What are all the businesses in the central facility?
Bear with me, and I think you're going to surprise me.
Okay, got it.
Okay. But the idea now, the site will include, again, we need a successful site, it's a resort, it's a luxury, modern, cutting-edge resort. You should expect activities. Activities for kids, activities for family. But I will tell you something else. I said just a moment ago, it's not arguing. When we're talking about that you come into a wellness resort, the one thing that I learned, we probably will become all over the world with my 3 kids, in all ages, she used to come more tired from vacation before she left. I don't know what is your kid age today. Some of you are listening. But how the heck you going to design a wellness resort to a mom? First of all, you let her to sleep. So our bedroom in our family units are totally silent. She can sleep. The living room is a smart living room with smart furniture, with smart games for kids. So now she knows that the kids are busy. Now, even the activities inside, we have a rope course. Why we have a rope course? It costs $800,000. Because we want to develop activities that develop self-esteem, leadership, because all of this we learned from Tony Robbins and other mentors in all over the world. We bring them over here. We want you to come and to feel that you come better than you came inside. It's not about the money only. And of course, we are spoiling rotten the adults, farm to table. We have a farm in the project on the other side because we want to do farm to table. Again, it's a very smart farm. We have, of course, all kinds of other activities, cooking class, and everything that you can just go and go to your sanity again. Where am I? So we went back to the inside of the project. Let's start to understand what we already demonstrated in a different way in the project. This will be tricky because every click over here, if I don't see.
Just don't go to the.
Okay. So,
Just click.
can I sit on the table, please?
Okay, just click.
No,
You wanna take the risk, that's okay?
No, it's okay. It's, I will side the window. I will side the window. Sorry about it. Okay, so, first of all, the main entry. The main entry. We spoke about video. I'll start answering you to the answer. So, I will do, you asked me already threatened me that I need to be sure. So I will not go all the way, but to whoever do not remember, we already offered, based on the concerns of the people, that on Vili Road, where Vili meet 55, we're going to develop a roundabout that, like in on the other side of the city. So we own our cost. Again, we need to work with New York State about it. We're going to design. You can see the design of the. Sorry, it's the other one. Okay, I knew. So I need to click. Right? Okay, sorry. So on in a moment I will show you sorry, I did the wrong thing on the wrong side because I don't see. But doesn't matter. The entrance is from Vili. We know that we have extension on the residents. Again, remember, it's 80 residents, but it is a remote working, it's a nomad, it's a second home. It's not 80 residents houses. It is long stay residents of a resort. So we have another special exit for them. And we have all what we need to know that this project will pass through SICA and all other elements, by far. Now, another click will take me to over here. Now I'll start to give you answer. You know us by now. Every time we come, it says, how can we be better? How we can be better? So something happened between November 15 to our work session in January 8 and today. When we came to you on September and November, we were with the mindset of 259 and everything developed around it. But now that we knew that we had the 490 acre inside, we came and said, and you actually raised this central facility. How can you put a wellness resort, people go inside this spa, whatever, massage, and then you have a corporate retreat? Because remember, last time that we discussed, we said that we want a corporate retreat that people can come, and you ask me, who is designated this corporate retreat, wedding, corporate retreat, what they need the facility. So we tell you they're going to be at least 3-4 elements that we want to see. We want to see the space that will be designated for Sunday market. Because I love, when I came to the town and I saw the Sunday market and people from the town can come, so there is a space for Sunday market, or call it a space. There is a space for the corporate retreat, very technology savvy. There is a space for the wedding that you must be a guest of the site. It's not a wedding we discuss about it. And we have another room that we're going to do wine tasting or whiskey, because that was, Hudson Valley is well known about its winery. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to do gathering places. But this did not work so much with what we came to you on November 15. And this is one of the big updates that we're going to do. Because now we have the 490, we did our legwork, and we noticed that we have easy 70, 80, 90 acre on the other side that was disturbed. Now, there is another thing that we discussed last time, but now it's more stronger. Already, the Dorothy family invested almost $400,000 building 3-4 full football and lacrosse, beautiful, they're just sitting over there. We know another fact. In New York, we have rain. If it's not rain, it's mud. If it's not mud, it's cold. It's not cold. And we know another thing that we spoke on November, but now it's concrete what I'm telling you. I know, and my kid is sitting over there, was captain in lacrosse, and I know as much kids in the youth sport exercise, they're better than the other team. When the kids win, it's stronger kids, more self-esteem, more everything. I don't care what you say. You practice more, you win more, you have more self-esteem. So how are we doing that? We're doing that by putting, how are we doing that on this right-hand side? So you can see where the land was shaped. Last time I told you, I think, now it's there. In the project, it's a $6 million tag number. Now, I'm not saying to you to impress you. I just want to show you how we did not save money. Now, when we will build these two bubbles, and I have knowledge with bubbles, and the Canadian company, I don't have time to spend on them. Now, some of this time, we can curb for the town youth sport to come, and this is a very sophisticated bubble. They can change automatically with the screen and everything, so it can be for tennis, it could be for football, it could be for soccer. It's a big one. I'm building the big one, not the small one. It's a full football team bubble. It's a very smart one, very smart technology. So now we have a contribution for the town, and we can engage the town with the youth lacrosse, football, because now we have 2 spaces all year round. I don't care if it's snow. Yes.
What's the contribution? The town paying for this?
Double.
What do you mean double?
You pay double. I'm joking. I didn't think about it. No, seriously. I did not go over there. It's too early again, but at the end of the day, I said it's coming from contribution standpoint. The basis is contribution.
So it's another business though, really, right?
Yes, but it's not even, yes, but the point is that we are taking existing football that you're using.
Right, I get it. I've got a couple questions, unless you're gonna address it first. The wedding venue, how big is it? Is it the same?
Basically, it's the same but different.
Which is what, 300 and something people?
It is. Okay.
What's the capacity of the wedding venue?
I don't know to tell you because you will see in a moment what I don't know to tell you. I know to tell you, but I need to in it. The next thing.
I thought it was.
No,
about
the next
300.
thing. No, the next thing.
All right, all right.
Hey, this is the next thing that I wanted to get.
Go ahead.
So, remember, it did not work on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, when we came to you in November, now we have all the site. We went and scouted it and said, what are we doing here to make this project better? So the bubble is for the youth. Now, before even that, we said, wait a second, we have another 50, 60 acre just sitting there. So we did literally cut and paste all the facility with the activity, the wedding, the corporate retreat, the winery, and move it to a separate structure that even though it costs us more, we cut it and now we can redesign it and we don't need to be obeyed by the concept and how a building for wellness needs to look like. Now we can build a building that it's all built correctly, and then there is a space for the event, there is space for the wedding, and each of them can be treated. The space that we designated, I think it came from our hospitality, different hospitality told us whatever, but we are flexible with
Are
it.
you saying that you're gonna put the wedding venue now on the other side?
Yes, all the facility of the event.
But you don't know how big you wanna make it?
Look, we are dealing with hospitality company that have those metrics. I know that it's a 300, 400, it's not 1,000. No, it's not something, guys, remember why it's not 1,000 or 2,000. You remember when I've been asked about the wedding by Mr. Ryan, I told him, this is a wedding that derived from you being with our resort.
I got it, that's big enough, but now where is the rest of the commercial going? Is it staying on?
First of all, it's not commercial, but okay, but everything.
Well, you got a spa, you got.
No, this is the wellness activity going to the left side, stay on the left side. Because you do not want somebody coming with this, from the sauna or whatever, and then somebody coming for a corporate retreat with a ticket. It's not working together. But this allows us to do something more important. Now we can design a building, a central facility that maybe will be 2 buildings. But now, now the beautiful part. Not only that we move it over here, now, even though that we know that the left side was enough on Video Road, and even though that we said that we're going to do roundabout, now you understand that now more traffic that was supposed to come to the wedding or to whatever from Village now moves to another exit. So it's another byproduct that now the traffic divided for two, and even though that I showed you last time that hospitality time is not equal to school time, the opposite. You're living with your kids at 7 o'clock in the morning, I promise you, no couple is 7 o'clock, they're staying in bed, they are not in the room. But what I'm trying to say to you, we came to you with a better project now, more balance. We can do more. Now another thing came. 2 weeks ago I was sitting here. I was sitting here and the lady Sandy was sitting there and speaking about it, for the recreation. And she came to you and begged for more budget for the recreation, and then she spoke about the elderly. So I came back to Michal and said, we must meet with Sandy, because I was not aware about it. Her speech was so good, I spoke with her after in the end, we said to meet, and I said, Sandy, I want to listen to you. But we went into our corporate, our central facility, now I'm designing the building. I totally new canvas. And I said, how can, now, corporate retreat have a main event space. And you have a breakout room. This is how you do corporate retreat. People need to go to a breakout room. So I said, what if we will design this building that in certain time, like we're doing for the youth sport club, we can help the elderly to have some communal space in a freaking most modern location. Not only that I'm giving you a tip, if there will be no site. And there is another 1,000 elderly in the town. Our technology, you're sitting in the room at the corporate, and it transmits everything outside. It's like you're speaking. Everybody is so on the road. It's a 3D corporate vision. The building is circular because actually it's a technology, it's a new technology. So not only if 1,000 elderly cannot come, they can continue being in the room even though they cannot drive over. So they can use our corporate building. So this is another way for us to do it. So we was able to contribute to the youth and now to the elderly, and don't ask me how, because I need to sit with Sandy another 2, 3, 4 meetings before we come to this idea. But I know that I can do that. Our corporate retreat is not working 24/7. Now the elderly have something that you cannot even dream and communicate between everything. You can tap into the meeting if you want. So this is a big step up that came over here. A separate building on the right-hand side, separate traffic, separate hours, and we believe that this is a huge upgrade for our site as well, and for the youth sport club.
Who owns the senior center?
There is no senior center.
Well, you're basically just setting it so.
No, it's a corporate retreat of the resort.
Right.
It's a wedding event, it's all the
So
facilities.
the seniors will have to pay to use it.
It's the same question of the youth, you pay double.
Okay.
It's the same contribution that we're coming from the fund. We want to find a way, if I have a resource that are not used, we will allocate it to the town. By the way, it's not the first time you hear me say it. But now we know how it can work because I can let you. I could not promise you ever in my life that elderly can come to a gathering that they need a gathering space. Where is my wellness? I couldn't do it. I couldn't let them in, I couldn't let them walk, nobody can walk. So now we have a quiet segregate wellness, and we have facility that have a separate entrance. I can monitor different the entrance. People need to come with a tag. Guys, it has become more balanced, beautiful project, and this is one of the things that I'm excited to share with you today. And so the bubble, this unit, I wanted to show you, Michal, where do I do the click of the roundabout?
Well, just saying, it's the nature walk, and then.
No,
Talk about the nature walk.
no, I want the roundabout.
Okay, so do another click.
Another click. Okay, you see who is the brain?
Well,
I'm only going to
first
do
is
this.
sewer.
So,
That is sewer, and then next thing.
Infrastructure.
okay, yes, we are talking from the inside out. So now, when we came to you from day one, we said, we ask nothing. And again, this will be the core of what I'm asking you today. We didn't answer nothing. So first of all, we know that we need to be self-sufficient. So street treatment, going to be over here. But look about the position. It's on Route 55. because we actually, through the site, remember we told you we started 259, end up in 490, we went and we bought this 22 acre, especially from two reasons. One of them is the sewage treatment, and now we can move the sewage treatment from here, over here. Now it's on Route 55, like cannot be even better. We start putting it on this asphalt, I put it next to the asphalt, and this is going to be contributed to the town. We already discussed about it, it's not useful. We're doing our sewage treatment, it's going to be 15% more, and then we hand it to the town, and now all the 82 and 55 can come collect over there, and revitalization of all this area. So this is we're doing, this is $8 million tax. The reason I'm throwing the millions that I want to show you, before we started to do nothing on the site, how much cost we are incurring. Let's continue. Where did I did? Click. Okay, the traffic. This is the traffic that I was looking for. We discussed about this. I just want to show you only the snapshot. Remember, last time I had the full presentation, but here I want to do only the snapshot because some of them didn't see. We took the same roundabout from almost the city center, and we duplicate it here with the New York State. We're going to make this, and we have a lane to allow it because it's our land on the corner. So again, we need there is things that I promise that I will do. There is things that I tell you still I need New York State with it. But at least you know that somebody is doing it, somebody is working on it. And this is already, you don't know, but we have a team of 10 people that are working on all these projects, ourselves. So this was already been calculated, people was on the field. We coming from knowledge, not from concept, knowledge. Let's continue. So we discussed about the sewage treatment, we discussed about the traffic circle, and then there is something else that's supposed to move. What are we seeing? It's over here, sorry. Yes, I just want to cover quickly that along every development, including us, somebody comes and says, I don't like, I don't want. It can come from two reasons. Ignorance, or don't know, or real concern that not been addressed. You saw us from day one. We came into the first in April and until now. Every time that the gentleman stood over there, the two of us said 3 acres. The other gentleman came with this. We met in the neighborhood with the country road. We came and said, speak to us what is not working. We will make it work. So between September to November, remember, we came with all of these things. So we came and we did the traffic. Then we met the people from, we have a train that going over here, and again, Mr. Ryan was helping about it to understand, you remember. And people walking on the train to over there to the cul-de-sac, and literally walking on the backyard of people that on the swimming pool with the bathing suit. Nobody wants people walking in the bathing suit. We walked over there, Mr. Ryan was helping me, and I saw what it is. Immediately we close over there, or we're going to close, and we're going to redirect them into the loop into the mountain. So what we actually done? They've been afraid that now we're doing this, so people will walk. I said, no people will walk. Close, period. The next thing that we touch, where is the Cutler? Where did I miss? Cutler Road. We had over here 6 people that came in from the neighbor to the town hall and was resistant to the project. Why they resisted to the project? We went and learned why they resisted the project. So we found out, and again, we're giving you the snapshot because it's full presentation that I don't want to take the time. We found out that they have 6 houses between our property to the to Barlow, but their driveway is on our side. We are paying the taxes for them driving on our side. So you are concerned driving on my side, on my property? So we said, no, I'm not trying to be who is the smartest. We took 2 meters, we took everyone, we told him, you go over there and you solve me their concern. So we went over there, he did all his measurements, he says, okay, we can easily add another drive next to the other one. Now it's a 2-lane, there will be no issue. So these gentlemen, these neighbors from over there have no resistance anymore. They like us. We actually made their entrance double lane, not 1 lane double, we're doing double lane. So this is the way we're going to address everything in the town. It's from the road to the Cutler Road, and I hope that they're satisfied. Because we actually, and again, it's not a street that million people will drive. It's a secondary entrance. Again, I don't remember if I touched everything.
What do you mean when you said it's a secondary entrance?
It's only for the residences. The ones that along, the
You're
empty.
saying it's only gonna be used for the long term? It's
Yes,
not gonna be
only.
used for the shorter term?
That's,
retreat?
only the long term, and it's not all the time, they are not over there, it's a second home, it's a nomad, it's even that we know, but we wanted, remember, to relieve that nobody will drive, and by the way, remember, there is no car driving on the side. Zero gas, we don't have a gas, and no car driving this 259 zero. Only, no, it's all electric one, it's all autonomous electric. Yes, we license it. My wife swear me not to speak about it, only for you. Okay, I will share with you. No car, all autonomous boxes that come in, technology existed, yes. I have 20 years experience in technology, besides real estate, so it's another day, another conversation. I will share with you later. Yes, of course. But there is no car, no electricity, no gas in the site, not in the lake, not outside the lake, zero. We don't want. People coming to wellness, you want to smell cars? And remember that it's all gravel, not asphalt. So again, let me continue because you already swear me. We didn't finish. I showed you that we took a site and we make it more green than we got it. I don't know such a project that can take a land and make it more green than you got it from the beginning. But we showed it with the pillar and everything. Now, we spoke about the sewage treatment. But the sewage treatment I touched a moment before, it's not only sewage treatment people connect. If they will connect, we know how 82 and 55 looks like. Closed, backup, tap. Now we can let them be. Because you don't need to pay for that, you have a sewage treatment. So first of all, the big thing here is that all this general business along, which are our neighbors, it's our neighbors from the 55 and 82. Now, let's go more than that. There is no way that I'm not going to take the time, because I had a full presentation about the other benefits that we have in the town. Such a project will generate more people eating more outside, more restaurant, people will eat more restaurant, people will do more hair salon, everything around us will grow up. I don't care what it is. Such amount of resource will drive business growth. Now, maybe I will need 2 employees. If I have 2 employees, this generated, because 2 employees need more place. Because everything is a ripple effect, and we showed you the ripple effect last time. Recreation and community engagement. We discussed about it all around. I mean, it's either in our facility, it's either in that we have a space that costs us money, only that people from the Lagrange will come and showcase this Sunday market that I love, by the way. It serves them and it serves our resort. Because people like to walk 3 hours and to see what peachy they can buy, which is beautiful thing. I like this over here, every vacation I'm doing it. A significant revenue option, we discussed about it, but I'm going quickly, I'm not going to open, but this was the ripple effect that we showed, that our project generating more and more and more and more. You cannot read it from here, I'm just showing to you that this is what will happen because of our project. We even discussed about that we consider later on, we're in the middle of all the art. Culinary art, it's what, 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away? We need people. We might send people with scholarship. Go to the culinary, come back and be my chef. Or go and I want you to manage. We spoke about it last time, and I know that you told me that people don't have even workers in the town. I don't care. Everybody growing in this town, everybody growing in another town. Everybody has kids, and then kids wants to go and to find the work that they're proud of. They want to find the work that they're proud of. Then you want them to be close with you because you want to have the grandkids next to you. It's a cycle of life. This project allows people to stay, maybe they want to come over here, and we know one thing. In hospitality, somebody can start by waiter and become a CEO of the highest company, and we have zillion of experience. All your hospitality allows you to start to be a waiter, or a supervisor, or depends what you learn, and become the manager of every facility. So the opportunity in this project going beyond, and I cannot even, this is the real effect that I don't have time to speak with you about it. Now, I spoke too much, question for me before I'm moving the baton to Michal about the project.
How many businesses, and how big are those businesses? You got how many restaurants?
1, 1.5, 2, I don't know, maximum.
Okay.
No, I don't want to be restaurant, I want to be.
But I need to know what
No,
you're
no,
doing with it. How many businesses are where the hot
Let
dog?
me answer. Because the building right now, remember where I am in the project, I'm not even in the planning board, but the concept that we want to see, if you remember, our central facility was constructed as a boomerang. And the reason of that in the center of the boomerang, there is a circle that the restaurant serve the couple with more luxury, I'm coming for romantic, and then the other side, it's more catering toward more family oriented. So I said it's a 1 or 2 because it's a one kitchen that actually serving 2 types of food. I don't want more than that. We are not a chain of 10 restaurants, 1 Chinese, 1 sushi. No. It's not. I want them to go out. They're coming over here to travel all over the beautiful outside.
What other businesses? You said you wanted to have a spa.
Casino.
Casino? I don't think so.
I'm sorry. This is all what we're coming with. I'm not coming, but I know one thing that you don't like. You don't like that you come with something and then for the other day, I'm sitting you another thing. You hate it, right?
No,
This is what this is the project.
Yeah.
I even showed you every element. I'm not going to do anything more. Everything that you saw will be developed to be just more beautiful. The flower, the rose will just open. I'm not bringing any more businesses in, and even I showed. Now I can tell you that the bubble will not operate under the hospitality. It's a center that manages the facility that work with the hospitality. But this is a business structure, it's not so.
I get it, but you.
No hidden agenda.
You know what your big hurdle is? You're in an RLD zone, the most rural part of our town, and that's what our comprehensive plan says.
No.
That's your hurdle for me.
No, I went to the zoning, with the PowerPoint, you can delete RLD and put it commercial.
If I wanna do that.
This is the hub. This is the brain, this is not big, this is the hub.
But that's not the master plan of this town. That's the
Amend it.
hurdle.
It's a beautiful thing. We are here with you. I don't want to take the conversation from the hub.
That's what
But
they're
this
doing
is
with the
something
gas
very
I'm
station.
gonna let you finish, and I think we should let.
No, because this is the hub.
Because of the gas.
Because this
You
is
guys
what.
got anything right now, or you
That's
wanna
what the
wait?
gas station meant.
That's way.
Okay, you finish.
Okay.
That's why it got passed.
You wanted her to speak.
That's right, I'm moving the baton to
Okay.
the because this will answer you to what you said. You're looking at me like you don't
No, so
want.
you're in charge of this
But
one.
we
from
need
now.
allowing those stores to change the zoning.
I will go.
Just let us know when it's our turn.
We will, you'll get, we're gonna have a public session.
If he owns it, he can do whatever he's
By the way, we will answer the question, but after this portion, because
I think we're better off.
It'd be contract.
Anybody wants to
Pretty much
say
they just
anything?
own it.
because sometimes give me a hint from your, I'm not pleased.
Yeah.
Once the store is done, he's open.
Okay, so, as Ofer said, our journey started 2 years ago. We researched a lot of wellness facilities and resorts, and we came up with this concept of those last modern units that we wanted to do. Then we went to look for a site, which was, again, very challenging, and once we found the site, we had to adapt the plan to the specific site, with specific lakes and plan. First time we came to the town to present was in April of 2023. We presented the concept and we presented the different options to work with the zoning issues. After that, we got some responses, and in June, we had a work session, again, with the town administration and consultant. We discussed how we can do the floating zone, which was the preferred option by the consultants, and we started working on the language of the floating zone. In September, we had a meeting with the neighbors. We sat with them for a long time. We answered questions. We heard some concerns. And then we came in the same evening to the town board, and we had introduction presentation. We showed the project for the first time. Based on those meetings with the town board and with the neighbors, we did a lot of changes. We expanded the project from the 259 to the 490. We came with all kinds of solutions to concern, offer, touch them, I'm not gonna repeat them again. And we revised the project, based on, the feedbacks that we got. We came back then in November to the town board with all the updates, and we introduced the proposed zoning amendment. In that meeting, it was decided to continue to do a work session about the language of the proposed amendment. That happened in January 8th, 8 months ago. Well, 8 months from November. In the middle, we had the January 8th. We presented detailed presentation of the language of the proposed amendment, and then it went to review by a town consultant, town professionals. And based on the feedback that we received, we actually did some revisions. I'm going to touch soon the revision. It was basically around the calculation of units. And that went back and forth with the review. And now we're ready to move forward. Yes, ready to move forward. So what is the floating zone? Lagrange has an existing floating zone for mining operations.
Hold on, we don't have an existing plan.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
We have a floating zone section in the code that has to do with mining. It has to do with approval of putting it on it. Let me give a brief explanation of how floating zones work. You can have a provision in your code that says you're gonna create a zone, which doesn't exist any place in particular. You outline what the characteristics of that zone are and what the qualifications needed in order for it to get approved and placed on some portion of land. An applicant can come in front of the town board, because the town board administers those zones, not the planning board. And you can request that that floating zone be put on top of a property or collection of properties.
Right, we have a long gap.
We currently have one in the code that's been there for a very long time to allow people to request that in order to do mining in the town. What they are proposing is that we modify and amend that section of the code to include a provision related to reclamation of the land after the mining operation ceases. And they are proposing that change and amendment of the existing floating zone for mining could be used to apply to properties that were once mined, which would include this property as well as.
So the floating zone was originally created to allow the.
To allow mining.
Right.
And then what they're proposing is
Is
to
amend
amend it
yeah.
to allow, say, okay, well, when the mining is done, you can get approval to do this as opposed.
That wasn't the intent back then.
No, and they're not suggesting it was.
Right,
It's
right.
The vehicle they're
Right, this is the
proposing
vehicle they're
is
using to make this.
is to main that section of
I
the
understand.
code,
Thank
to
you.
allow reclamation and development in a manner that is different than whatever the underlying zoning might be.
Got it.
Right, so the existing one is basically a gateway of the town for new mining sites. Okay, it's saying that that's,
I don't think we're seeing anymore.
Okay, well, okay, but that's again, well, I think that's one of the reasons that it was created.
But that's why it's there.
To prevent,
Right, right.
yeah, to prevent other people from starting, digging. So we are not changing anything in the existing law, we're just adding, this is A, B, and C, we're starting at D. We're not changing the word, the only thing we're doing is adding to the existing code and for redevelopment of formerly mined properties. Okay? So, the flooding zone, like Supervisor said, is not for a specific site, it's not a spot zone. It's an overlay set of regulations that does not replace the existing zoning. So the land is gonna stay R&D, but it can also apply to be included in the floating zone.
Can I interrupt just for a second? The town code over the years has had other overlays in it as well. We have one for senior citizen housing, we have one for alternate senior, and the PDD was not strictly an overlay, but it was kind of the same.
It's
It's the same
basically
basic
it's
principle.
basically
You're coming in and
change zoning.
saying, these are the properties I wanna do this with, will the town board approve putting this on top of it?
Right, but it's still
It
a
doesn't-
tool, right,
Correct.
to change zone.
Yes and no, you don't change, an
Add-
overlay doesn't
Backdoor.
necessarily change the
It's a pretty big
underlying
use,
zoning,
right.
but
Got it, I
it
understand.
changes the
Got it.
use.
Yep, got it.
Adding.
Adding an option.
No, I realize this is a legal method, I get it.
Correct.
And again, this is a discretionary action by the town board to allow that. It's not that, it's automatically happens, the law, the amendment is gonna sit there, and like right now, it's a floating zone, there are no properties in there. So it's not requiring, it's not mandatory, it's not a change, it's gonna affect anything, it's gonna be on discussion of the town board,
That's an
for every
important-
single project.
And it's important to understand the distinction between that and actually changing the zoning. If you change the zoning of a particular set of properties, those properties now have the characteristic of that zoning change and have all the associated permitted uses with it. In this case, creating the floating zone in the code, as you said, doesn't actually do anything at all, because nothing happens until the town board makes a decision about whether to take that floating zone and actually put it on top of a piece of property. That action is what triggers a use, not the change in the law, and I think that's the
And
point
I'm,
you're
yeah, I'm
trying
gonna
to
get, I'm gonna get to it in the end, yes.
It's a separate step.
Yes, so for now, we're only talking about, doing the amendment, just creating a floating zone. And then each project that's gonna want to be included in the floating zone is gonna have to be, it's a type 1 action, it's gonna have to go through full secret. And get scrutinized with all the environmental issues, and then get voted again by the town board. So that's a long process, and I'll get to it, at the end. In order to be eligible for the floating zone, we have some criteria, specific criteria in the amendment. First of all, it must be a site that is, with a minimum of 50 acres. Right now, there are 3 of them. We are 490 acres, there is another one with 72 acres and 86 acres. It had to be previously used for licensed commercial mining operation. It's not that everyone that did some digging in his backyard can now be a potential floating zone site.
2 of those are owned by the same person, correct?
Well, we have a contract on the first one, the second one is Red Wing.
Still, Red Wing is pretty prime.
Yeah, we're buying
Yes,
from them,
right.
but right now we have a contract.
But yes,
So,
that's
yes,
right.
Yes. And it has to be reclaimed. So the other 2 properties are at this point not even eligible to consider, because they have to be reclaimed and then to go through a BEC, to have a reclamation plan, to, first of all, to close the business, then to reclaim, and only then they can be considered for the floating zone. So right now, it's only that
You
site.
understand what she just said? Does everybody understand what she just said? Okay.
So, the purpose of the floating zone amendment, I'm not gonna, go through the entire law, but just the purpose, it's important, it's the, D in the first page of the law. The purpose is to promote the conservation of open space, recreation opportunities, and variety of housing options is called for in the town's comprehensive plan through creative redevelopment of large previously mined lands. And continue, to ensure that environmental resources are protected as much as possible by concentrating the new development on and around the already disturbed land, aforementioned that before, while preserving and protecting important natural beauty, cultural and historic features, ridgeline, wildflower habitats, ecological system, scenic area, forest lands, white sheds, and other sensitive area is permanent open space through conservation easements. So that's gonna be protected in the law from any future development. We cannot touch the other parts that are conservation. I'll give you the gist. What's important? Why do we need the floating zone? It requires mandatory minimum 50% nature conservation through those conservation easements. That's a minimum of 50%. So it means that all the land that was not touched is going to stay as it is, not developed. It allows clustering of the units on the previously disturbed land. So unlike making a neighborhood over there and cutting the trees and doing all, killing the nature, we're clustering the units closer to each other. That's allowing us in the language. And it allows small units. The RLD minimum house is 1,200 square feet. We're talking about units of 550, 600, 750, 1,000 square feet. Tiny units that we right now cannot do in RLD zoning. That's what we want to do. We want to do the small units. We're asking you, please let us just do small units. And, like you said, it's allowing the hospitality use. This is something that's not exist. That's one of the important things. And it allows a central facility that's serving the hospitality. It's not about adding businesses like restaurant and spa. These are central facility to serve the hospitality. It's not an outside business. Yeah, not a commercial, it's a business. Now the main change that we had since November and since the work session in January, based on the feedbacks that we received, like Ofer said, when we came in September, we wrote the law, initially the amendment, we were in the mindset of 259 acres, and we had some limitations. We had a smaller land. And we came with the solution of the open cluster subdivision idea of 50% conservation, and then some weird calculations that are really complicated. And with the feedback that we received during the review, since November, it's been 8 months, we understood that this is an issue, it's too complicated. People are expecting the 3-acre zoning to stay. The R&D concept of 3 units per 3 acres. So that's what we did. We changed, we started open counters. We said, okay, how are we doing it? Now we have 490 acres. We doubled the size, but we kept the same number of units. So we had much more flexibility now. And we said, okay, let's do it very simple. And the revised calculation of unit is going like that. We take the total area of our, either side. It can be our side or the other two sides when they reach that point. So we're taking the total area, the 490 acres, we divide it by 3.
That's not correct. Actually, I think you did not pass the first time. I think you had too many units. Now you may at 490, but your calculation.
490 acres.
Correct. Now
Yes.
they may be close to pass.
And this is just what they're proposing.
Right, no, I get it, but before, I don't think you had a calculator.
That's-
But,
we
all right, let's
changed.
move on.
We
No, I know you
changed.
did. And now it looks like you would have it.
Right. So now we're saying, let's take 490 acres divided by 3. Basically, if it was a flat land, we could do that, right? Okay, so now we have a little more complication. That's why we're doing clustering and doing small units. Okay, and this is giving us 163 small units. It's not a 5,000 square feet big house. We're talking about tiny units. So that's 163. Okay? And then we say there is 50% land conservation that is mandatory. And we're saying this should allow 25% bonus units. Again, the small units. So that's another 40 units, this bonus. That's it. That's the calculation of units. Simple. And we don't know, we had this paper, the table. It's I don't think we want to get into it here, but we can answer any question. For each of the sites, how many units it's going to come. So for us, it's 163 plus the 41 units bonus, so it's 204 units. The other two sites are 36 units and 30 units. That's the maximum. We're not saying that's what we're building. This is going to go through planning board, going to be through SIGMA, and we're going to make sure everything fits. But that's just a simple calculation. It's saying take all the acreage divided by 3 and 25%. That's it. It's simple. And the 25% is walking along the same lines of the open cluster subdivision, but also giving some bonus units with the same size. But again, that's not related to that. It's just like was some logic to say 25 because the other law is using 25. So unless there are questions about this one, next step.
We know the next step is, why don't we let the people speak?
Okay, go ahead. I just go with that. So moving forward, and this is exactly what Supervisor mentioned before. We have two phases. Phase one is process the approval of the flooding zone amendment. Nothing to do with a specific site and specific project. The first step is to initiate some environmental review, which is supplemental generic environmental impact statement, because there was another one that was done on a specific area in 2021. It can be supplemented, it can be relatively quick. We're going to finance that, it's not going to be on the town, and this is something that can be done. And then it's going to come back to the board to review, to accept the conclusions, and following that is going to be a public hearing. On the amendment, it's going to discuss are there any significant impacts, and any changes that need to be made. We're going to have time for the public to say their concern and their input, and hopefully by then the town board can vote and approve the amendment. The second phase is going to be the process to approve the project. This is where we're going to need to come with an application to be included in the flooding zone. Again, that's discretionary. We have application fee here that's going to come to the town board. Once the town board says it's interested in that, we're going to go through the full SEQA. It's going to be led by the planning board, the leading agency. And after the SEQA, we're going to come back again for the final approval by the town board. And only then, we're going to go for site plan approval back to the planning board. So it's a long road to approve the project, but that's where we are. But today, today we're talking about the first step to initiate the environmental review. And I think that's where we are, right? Yes.
It was 3.5 minutes, I told you.
So just to clarify a little bit about what the purpose of the environmental review would be associated with the secret requirements for passing the law. Okay, that is the project. And that's why it's a generic one rather than a specific one. You're passing a law that would enable this floating zone to be put on property and used for, and I get undefined project, and so you do a generic environmental review rather than a specific one. That's for passing a law. Then when you come in at some future file for a project, that would go through its normal, more site-specific and project-specific secret.
It's a very dangerous way to keep our comprehensive plan, and it just changes our outlook. Give you an example of the Stewarts. When we passed the Stewarts, somebody brought the concern up to me that what if this thing doesn't go through, you just changed that to a commercial zone. So when we approved it, we said that if this project doesn't go through, it goes back to general business. The problem is, how do you protect, I'm just talking in general.
I think that,
how do we protect this town from a different board? When does the vision protect it? I don't wanna have 5 years down the road to pick a vision, whatever that vision is, and then a new board comes in and boom, they change the vision at a snap of a finger on a vote and say, I'm gonna allow this in the overlay zone. Why even have a comprehensive plan? It's a very scary, dangerous tool, because we're not gonna be sitting here forever, and that's my fear of that. I just wanna let the people speak, but that's my fear of doing this.
all right,
I don't understand how it's going
we can have that
We'll
conversation.
have that conversation.
But one thing is, you suggested was actually the idea, the great idea came from you, and says to us, why to waste everybody's time and everything for a project? So you actually allowed us to come and to avoid what you said by, if we are first of all updating the law, we even not connecting to the law, we need to come back to you again 3 times and to do
But our
simple.
comprehensive plan is the opposite of this, that's what's.
How it's opposite?
The comprehensive plan says it's the most rural part of our town.
Just a second, but I'm showing you that they're making a rule
Right, I'm gonna let
making
people
more
speak, I don't
rural.
wanna keep going, because we have other people to get through, and then I'll just, these are my concerns.
It's okay.
That it's not always gonna be the same board, and another board can snap their fingers and say, I wanna allow this in the overlay zone, and where does it end?
The legislation would specify what the criteria is to be able to apply for the overlay zone.
Right now, the criteria is 100% opposite of what the.
I'm just saying that the
Right.
law will
Right,
have that
let's let
criteria.
people talk.
And as far as future boards goes, well, the future board could change.
Can you
the
bring
law.
that map back up there of Healy Road,
Yes.
like your water treatment plant that's, I
Yes,
think
yes,
might
of
be
course.
in the swamp?
Yes, yes, yes.
Is it the
Swamp?
Yeah.
It's gonna
Did I show you where I live?
No, no, it's okay, just.
And oh, I will, I'm not, just give yourself some
Let me bring
time.
it in just a second.
Give yourself some time, figure it out.
Yes. I think that's a good idea.
The zoning map
Yeah,
of
public
our
comment. We gotta get the public comment.
The zoning map?
So she made a motion.
Yeah, the map of everything.
This one?
Wait, let's,
Well,
the
whoa,
clerk has to
whoa,
take
whoa,
minutes of
whoa.
what's going on,
Let's
we
do
need to
this
do
one
this.
at a time and have.
We're gonna open up, we just
control
opened the public
fashion.
comment period.
So if you wanna
So you're
have
good,
something to
Dave.
say, raise your hand, I'll
Raise your
recognize you.
I'm Dave White,
You
106
may
Skidmore
start.
Road, Lagrangeville, how you doing?
Come on up, Dave.
That's
Okay, I want to explain to you something here. The sewer treatment plant, let me get this correct, everybody knows, Bealey Road, correct?
Yes.
You bought the other side of the property of
Yes.
Bealey Road.
Yes.
That is total swamp. Okay, you wanna put a treatment plant there, it's not gonna, you're.
Why?
And I'll tell you why, because you see, I live right here, on that side of the creek, okay? You raise that one iota, you flood me out, okay? Let me explain to you. I've been here since 1967 in that house. I have never, ever had water in my house. Yes, I flood, and I flood quite a bit.
It's a sewage treatment. It's a.
Correct.
I wanna make sure
What are you gonna do,
we
put
have
it in the ground, underground?
dialogue.
I'm explaining to you, this water flows into
Probably
these
drain your swamp,
ponds.
actually.
When the water gets that high, you are already up to the lakes.
Excuse me, can I answer your question?
Absolutely.
The answer to your question is, any proposed sewer treatment plant would have to go through an extensive.
Right, so that'll be found out.
Please, everything.
But I'm just explaining to you. All the rest of it, the water flows off this mountain.
And it's fascinating that you're telling us where the water goes, but
I've lived here
engineers.
my whole life. God, yes, I know where all the water goes.
All right, I understand
I
that.
just wanna make sure you
But what
also
I'm
know there's a
telling you-
3-minute comment period, so if there's other points you
My-
wanna raise.
My only comment is, if you do anything here that will make that water flow any faster, like parking lots and drainage things we get flash floods. It's not just water running, it's this flash flood. That's what floods me out. If the water, if at some point that water floods my house out, then I'm gonna have a problem with the project, because I've never had water in my main house yet. Yeah.
What if,
Yes, no.
I'm good.
Because I know what all the answers to this is, so I'm gonna say, okay? Number one, any sewage treatment plant would have to go through a thorough design and approval process that involves a plethora of different agencies.
Right.
Right? First and foremost, because its intent would be to turn it over to the town to be able to manage it.
Okay.
It would have to get past our engineers and our approval process to make sure that it will work and that we can operate it. Second, it will have to get through, I believe, probably the Dutchess County Department of Health as well as the DEC. And so it's going to need to meet any and all regulations about its ability to function in a way where it is not underwater. That's the first thing. With respect to flooding your property, all projects of any kind, in order to be approved by the town, have to demonstrate that that project will be able to be put in place without causing any increase in storm water or any other kind of water on adjacent properties by state law. And so all of that would have to be demonstrated with engineering diagrams to the satisfaction of the town staff and our town consultants in order to get any level of approvals at all. So I understand what you're saying about that property. I think we all know that that property is wetlands. And any proposed would have to be checked to see whether it would actually be able to function there or not before it went anywhere at all. But I understand your concerns.
Right. I mean,
I'm just suggesting that the entire process.
You know where I live.
Is extremely
It's like
rigorous.
Any little thing that's gonna disturb
Understood?
where we're at, it's gonna be a
No, I
major
understand.
catastrophe.
I understood. Others?
Dave, thanks.
Sir?
Frank Pompilio, 143 Veely Road. I'm actually right across the street. And this may be their dream, but there's a lot of people here who really like the rural community where we live. And this is probably the last thing that we want. It may, you know, they talk, most of it I can't even understand. This is like the third time I've been here to listen about this project. It goes so fast and there's just a language barrier. So it makes it a little more difficult. But I don't like the whole idea of somebody telling me what's going to be good in the community that now I've been here 20 years. And I got a lot invested in this community. And all of a sudden somebody's coming from the outside saying to me, hey, I got a better idea and I'm going to make it better for all of you. I don't need anybody to make my life better. That's my job. And I really think that this is a horrible idea. I think the project is going to affect me, and some of the people I see here are my close neighbors. They're on the other side, and they talk about how everything is going to be great. We're going to do another road, and they keep throwing money, and this project gets bigger and bigger, and it cuts into that rural area. And I'll tell you now, if this thing goes through, I won't be here, and I know that nobody here may care about that, but this project is bad for this area. And I really think, you know, I don't know them. I was at the meeting at Doherty's house, and I'm gonna be really quite frank. It's like a big train going. It's already starting. It's moving quicker. I was in the deal to buy that piece of property from Doherty because I didn't want anything right up on my property. We spoke a little bit the night of that meeting. They killed that deal the following morning. They killed the deal the following morning because that's where they're talking about. That's where they're talking about putting this treatment plant.
Right.
I was in contract to buy that, and they killed that deal. So that's how they start. They get a foot in, the train starts going, and then you guys sound a lot different than the last time I was here. So I feel like that door is already creaking open, and somebody's putting their behind in it to stop it from closing. So I'm going to tell you, I'm against this. I'll do whatever I can. I'll pump whatever money I got to stop it because it's a bunch of bull.
Amen.
And that's what I got to say.
Barbara Lenz, 5 Cutner Road. I speak maybe for the people on my road, but if they want to speak as well. We are on Cutner Road, and now that I know you guys own it, I mean, we have a lot of back work that we've put into that road and time that we've lived on it, and knowing that you already own it this home time, I kind of feel like we kind of got shafted on the thousands of dollars we spent on it. But absolutely, we are 100% against it. I mean, as Richie Ryan does not want people in his backyard walking the paths, I don't want people in my front yard walking the paths or seeing me in my bathing suit.
Or 400 cars going by.
Or 400 cars going by. But, I mean, I'm sorry, 50 cars maybe.
Others? Sir?
I'm Tim West, I live at 33 Cutner Road, and what she said is true, because I don't understand how you could widen Cutner Road, because on the right, to me, it's wetland, and on the left, we own the properties, so I just don't know how you're gonna be able to do that. And then at the very end, what I see on the deed, my aunt owns that piece of property, so, and I'm not looking to let somebody just plow through it to make a road. And then my aunt, who I'm in charge of taking care of right now, she has dementia, and we have nurses that come in and hospice coming in, and I don't need all these cars coming in there to make it more difficult to take care of her. And then plus, they got grandkids, and then the new neighbors got kids that play on that road. that's gonna cause a lot of problem with all these new traffic that they're planning on bringing in. So I'm against it too, like this gentleman says, it just don't sound right. So I'm definitely against it.
I also need to add something, I apologize, I forgot to ask it, or say it before. Our road originally, was proposed by you guys that it was used for a mining road, and since it was already there, but originally it was used in the 30s as a mining road for a small gravel bank that only took care of the small of Lagrangeville, our side. So Paul Dougherty never used that road in the 22 years that we've been here for anything. When we lived here, walked to the end of it, it was actually a 30-foot cliff and a bunch of piles of dirt.
Where I
And
rode
we
my
walked-
dirt bike.
Exactly, yeah, with the dials, exactly. So, that road was never used for any kind of high traffic, anything, to even be considered to be used as a road again.
Right, in the back?
Same guy,
Oh, right.
just a different seat. Just one other thing, I get really concerned when somebody tries to get me to buy something, but they won't tell me all the particulars about it until after I buy it. Kind of like our government does, our federal government, I should be more specific. But
appreciate
it
it.
seems like every time you try to get an answer, there's a bunch of different things, different factors. Well, we're gonna do the baseball field, and we're gonna do this. I mean, he seems like, why don't you just sell him Lagrange? He might have an easier time, he could pass his own laws and have his own little community, because that's pretty much what it sounds like to me.
Others? Nate? Okay, go ahead.
With the overlay zone, is that something that exists? It's not on the Dutchess County zoning map.
Let me explain that again, because.
I think you said it was just in the law, but it's not on the map.
Overlay zones in the law, by definition, don't exist anywhere on a map, because you apply to have them put in place on some parcels when you request to have it done. The law just is the provision that allows the town to do it, and it doesn't show up on a map until such time as that's actually done.
Oh.
So that's the answer to the question.
So it hasn't been done?
And I honestly don't know whether that law was passed before or after the mining operations that are in place currently.
Okay.
I don't know whether those mining operations were put in place as a result of that law, or they all predated that law.
They all
put in
predated.
place. They all all of them predated?
All of them predated.
So the law was put in place to control that moving forward, and nobody has used it since the time it was passed. So that's why it doesn't show up anymore.
Okay.
That's the answer to your question.
Now, my other concerns would be, water table in the area. Again, do we know what's there now, what wells are like, and then where the water usage is gonna come from for that project? And again, the sewage that he's addressed.
At the risk of ticking off the gentleman who already left, so I guess I don't have to worry about that. That's an example of something that would be evaluated and sorted out later in the process. In other words, the supply, they mentioned that they're talking about putting in a sewage treatment plant. They would also be putting in a central facility to supply water to the project as well.
There's two water wells.
And the approval of the water facility in many ways mirrors what I said about the sewer. In other words, all of the factors you're talking about would have to be evaluated and approved by the town of Lagrange, Dutchess County, and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and each of those bodies take into account different aspects of what your concerns are. But it would have to get through all of those statutory hurdles to be approved at all.
And they would compare.
Including evaluating the water table, effect on other people's water, et cetera, et cetera. That's all part of that consideration before any of those things are approved.
Okay. Has there any thought been given to doing the master plan? Since we're, in the situation where the master plan keeps coming up and things are keep changing on it.
Mr. Scusa, the reason why I don't want to do the master plan is because town center's been the master plan, and they're gonna start next spring. We put a moratorium on this whole town for all apartments and townhomes to to allow town center to get built, there's no sense in opening the master plan when town center is the master plan, basically, right?
Okay.
It's 650 apartments, it's a
Yeah,
ton
but
of
it's-
businesses.
This is now affecting the master plan, you said.
No, I agree, so this is something that we have to consider, does this community want to do this big change? But I'm gonna let everybody finish, and I'll speak my piece, but that's the reason why I wanna open the master plan, because I don't know how much traffic's gonna come from town center, and that's why we put a moratorium.
That's why you
I
do
want
a master
everybody to
plan.
finish speaking first.
Okay, I think the quick answer is you're not, the board has not made a decision to move forward with, a major update and revision to the master plan at this time, at all.
Is there any way the moratorium is gonna affect these people?
That's a question I have, but let's let everybody finish.
That was part of what I was gonna say, from Senior 15 Cutler Road. Is there a moratorium now on building apartments and multi-families?
And I don't know the answer.
Well, it's been introduced and there's gonna be a public hearing.
Right, it hasn't passed quite yet, but it's right in that
Okay.
process. But
So-
if that passes, does that affect this project?
I have to relook at
You
it,
gotta
I don't
relook at it.
recall.
And what benefit does his water plant and his sewer plant do for me?
Where do you live?
Cutler Road.
He's on that backside.
Probably doesn't, provide any benefit to you at all, would be my guess.
Does it do anything for any other residents in town, or just the project?
The corridor, the 82 corridor, which is like 5 people.
And potentially Billy Road, I guess, right?
I mean, that's some of the best wells in the county.
I just said potential.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, he left, but
Hey,
anybody
I
got
can
a well?
answer it this way.
There's
I
only
get the
two,
wells
there's
on
only
Steep
two
Brook.
houses on
We're
Beach.
sort of
Besides
back to a
Falls.
procedural question of what sequence these kinds of things take place in. And I'm saying that not so much to dodge the question as to say sometimes the answer to questions is nobody's figured that out yet. When you put a sewer and or water facility in place, there is a process by which the town establishes either a sewer district or a water district. And part of that analysis and process would be determine which parcels are participants in those districts and which are not. And an essential and really important part of that, actually, is canvassing the potential properties that might be included to determine whether they want to be included or not. You might say, well, wouldn't everybody want to be included? The answer to that is no, because if you have a well and a septic system that's working perfectly fine, you're not necessarily going to be interested in including in a district that's going to tax you every year to provide you with a service you have no need for in the first place, right? So there's an evaluation of exactly which properties would be included and therefore which properties would benefit from that is associated with that process. So it's hard to answer. If I was gonna guess, I'd guess in your case it wouldn't be included and you'd have no benefit at all. That would be my guess. But you wouldn't know that until you got through the process. Others, comments, questions? Sir?
My name's Tom Sanford. I live on Beely Road on the south side where 55 crosses Beely, or Beely crosses.
Right.
I'm not looking forward to additional traffic. At the same time, I'd like the town center to get built and see how that affects the overall growth in traffic. And then maybe at a later time. I don't like to restrict anybody's property owner's rights and that kind of thing. I just think it's too quick at this point in time to go ahead and approve another 400 or 500 units. Basically, that's my whole thing.
Okay. Others?
I'm still concerned about the traffic. You were talking about the access road on Kootenai Road. You're saying that's only gonna be used by the long-term people? Okay, where is all the commercial stuff gonna come in? Because you have to feed the restaurants, you have to feed, is that all gonna come through the Beely Road side? It's all gonna come in and out the main entrance?
Correct.
Okay.
Right, the idea,
You're still saying no, long-term, and then you did voice about how people are gonna come out into our community and out. That's a lot of traffic. even though they're long-term, and they're only gonna be able to use that access, that's what you have on there. That those are only that's only the way to go out for the long-term people.
No.
Well, that's what the
No,
statement
no,
was
it's a
earlier.
secondary for the long term. It's gonna
Secondary.
be gate,
I
and
heard
only their cars
quite
can even
clear
use
that
that.
you said that was gonna be the
I,
way they went out.
I just wanna understand and clarify that. His point was that exit onto Barmore would be limited to traffic associated with the long-term units.
Only.
Would probably be, I think you
Right.
mentioned that it would be gated with some kind of key
No,
access or
it's,
something.
no, it's not
Yes,
key,
gated.
it's automatically, you
but
leave your
The
plate,
car.
only the plate, the approved plates.
But I believe what you also just said is those long-term people would have the option of going out through Veely as well?
Of course.
Okay, I just want, this is just a design
Yeah,
question, I
definitely.
just wanted to.
But
clarify
basically,
that
we
for
want
you.
them to use, but the only point that I'm
Okay.
going to answer to this lady as well. First of all, it's already been done, preliminary study by environmental and civil engineers, that we can add another lane that will not even reflect your land, that it's on, your road is on our land, we pay tax on your road.
I didn't know you guys bought
So-
it.
so-
How
so-
much tax are you paying on that?
So I don't know the calculation.
Just curious.
But you want to see the.
Because I
same-
know that we paid more
Please.
in the past 20 years for Paul owning this property.
What is your name is?
Now
To
you're
plow it.
What
to
is your name?
plow it, to maintain
Oh,
it. My
no,
name
no,
is
of
Barbara.
course you need-
Barbara.
Barbara, just a second, I think that we spoke already before, right?
Yeah.
Barbara, I want to give you only facts, not opinion, please, go with me.
I know, but I love your facts. You started by saying
But
we
I'm
were
adding
ignorant
another
about
lane,
it, and
and
now
it's
you're
not
telling
correct
me your
to me.
fact. The fact is, I live 20 feet off of a single lane
From the
dirt
road, right?
road.
From the
You
road.
are gonna have how many people coming through? Now,
Barbara,
again,
we're adding another lane
as
on
he
our
said-
land, not on your side, on the other side.
Of course
It's
not on
the
my
right
side,
lane.
I own that.
It's only
car.
10 feet on the other
It's
side.
on the other
Yeah.
side,
You
right.
got
It's
two
on
lanes,
the
one
other
lane
lane,
here,
right.
Our residents
It's
will
the
go on
second
our
lane.
side on another
Offer,
lane.
it's a
Correct, 10
second
feet, 10 feet
lane
further away.
on a dirt road,
Exactly,
right.
and it's
If that's
not
your
right.
lane, it's 10 feet, this is their lane, this is your lane, that's 10 feet.
And then inside our
Sounds very
lane, we have
not
another lane.
impactful.
So just a second, just a
Sounds
second.
very not
The
impactful.
point is,
I don't want.
right, the point is, that we don't want that much traffic, that's all.
We're not gonna have arguments
Right.
going on here, okay?
But-
The purpose of this is a public comment period.
Correct.
Which is for you to call, you to make your comments known and to ask questions. It's
I
not to get into
apologize. My dander
arguments.
got out.
It's
I'm
not-
apologizing.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop that and ask if somebody else, sir.
David Machia, Town of Lagrange. I do have two questions. One about your business, and then the other one about the mining regulations. So I'm going to start with the mining regulation. Mining site reclamation. Now I'm a little bit familiar. I looked it up in the past where you have to reclaim a mine at some point. It's part of the original application. How does that work with the floating zone? Because I know that the floating zone is.
I'll try and answer that. My understanding is, perhaps there's somebody who understands the mining law of New York State better than I, because I've never had to deal with it. But my understanding is the reclamation process, as well as the licensing process, is really a process conducted by the DEC.
Right. So that would have already happened, right?
And, well, it may or may not have happened, depending on which parcels you're talking about. I believe with the parcels we're talking about, that is complete.
The reclamation's
Yes.
already.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, yes.
Right. I believe the other two parcels they're talking about, that has not been complete. And I think that was the point they were trying to make. With respect to the overlay, I think the only relationship between the two is that in order to be, well, currently it has no relationship to it at all, because the current overlay is to permit people to go and conduct mining. It has nothing to do with reclamation, because that's not in there at all yet. The idea of the proposed law would require it to have already gone through the reclamation process with the state before it would be eligible for whatever they're proposing with the overlay.
So
I think
wouldn't
that's the answer.
wouldn't the reclamation from the state, does that allow this to happen?
No, it's our code, that's in our code, the overlay law.
Right, no, the floating zone is our,
Right.
but their mine is through the state, and part of their mine application is that they will have to reclaim at the end.
Correct.
And so are they allowed, what are they allowed to put on in that state law for the reclamation? Because
After the reclamation?
And you can do
no,
anything you want.
part
after.
of the reclamation.
What is
No,
it
it's
next?
not.
I would like
The law that's
to
being
answer, and I
proposed
will
would
direct my
say.
comments to the board.
Go ahead.
Reclamation is a very broad term. It's really bringing the property back to any usable state. It
Right.
doesn't have to be, again, I'm directing my
Right,
comments
it's
to the
whatever's
board.
going.
But if I may,
Yeah.
all of that takes place before the proposed law would even come into
Correct.
play at all.
Right.
They'd have to meet
It
all
couldn't
that
be in the
criteria
overlap
from the
until they were
state
reclaimed.
before they were even eligible.
Correct.
And once they complete that process with the state, then they're closed out with the state, and the state has no
So you have
Correct.
jurisdiction or interest in what happens after that, I believe.
And
is
I'm
the
trying
answer.
to verify that they're not allowed to do this through the state's reclamation process already. Like,
They're already reclaimed, they're done.
well, the ones that aren't, could
No,
they just
correct.
do this already?
No,
Correct.
no.
Okay.
He'd be correct, if it
No.
wasn't fully
It
reclaimed.
would be governed by
it wouldn't be
Arizona.
allowed.
It would be governed by Arizona once the reclamation
Right.
process with the state is complete. They
Okay.
can't just do whatever they
But
want,
they-
the state has authority, but they don't have any control over that.
Okay,
No.
my question about your business is, you know, we've seen big projects come into the town, and like Town Center, which is holding up a lot of this, and we're like 40 years into after they've been approved. So I'm curious, what projects has your company actually completed, worked on in the last 10 years that we can look at to see, can you handle something this big? Because like Rieger has been handling this for 4 years, so we're not seeing it. We may get it next spring. I have that worry that we could see another, is there anything that you have that we can look at to see your track record?
He's talking to you.
No, okay, so number one, to give you our background of 22 years in land development and everything, it's not in this forum, and actually we have a full presentation about it. But I can tell you that our family office has done, for example, one of the biggest private rezoning, remediation, and everything. We took a car wrecking of the Brad brothers, from a car wrecking that smashed batteries. The batteries liquid go into the Shedrick River, flowing all the way under the bridge like Dave has, going to the Mamaroneck Bay where kids are bathing every day. So we took it, and after many, many years and millions of investment, we gave all the solution, we raised the site, we did everything, and we did the biggest rezoning and remediation, basically on 2 sites in Mamaroneck, one of them is in front of the bay. So we are very adverse about how we should treat a land, and this took us another level. Here we said we don't want to do a regular development. We want to do something that's close to our heart. This is a project from the heart, because everybody needs to understand one thing. If it's not this,
This could be anything else.
It is, okay, no, let's forget our site. Let's take other Red Wing site. It's a how much acre?
86.
86. Red Wing can go, we claim his site tomorrow with DC, then the property moves back to the town, and he can take 86, divided by 3 acres, and build 3 times, 86 divided by 3, he can do 27 houses. Guys, this is by the law. We do not want to do it. This is the easy
I
way.
understand that, but what
So,
I'm asking
so
is.
we know how to do this project. We have other people behind us, it's
Right.
not only us, you see.
So how
only
can
us.
we verify that? Because whenever you go to buy a car, I
But
gotta
I
let me
believe-
take it home and look at it
So
before.
it's
I come.
another
So-
conversation, but I'm not here to verify who we are and all is who is me, who is people behind me. We know how to do this. It's a $135 million project.
Why not? We need to see that.
Because
Why not?
this is not the stage. The stage is.
This is our town, this is our stage.
So
You
it's
have
another
the stage.
so
Prove to us that you have something.
So I'm
that
saying
he
to
can
you,
look
for
at, make him
example,
satisfied, make him happy.
So 7 years.
We are not that important to, I
But
hope
I'm
I'm
giving you an
important to the whole
answer. But you
town
want
here.
to, 24 years, you want to know all our businesses that we're doing? My friend, I
Just
gave
the
you
last
example.
Yes,
I
yes.
told you the Black Bar,
Yes,
the
that's
biggest,
exactly what we want.
the biggest rezoning and remediation.
Yes, give us something.
I don't wanna have to say
I'm
this.
giving
us something.
We're not gonna get, we're not gonna
You want
turn
my
this into
history?
that kind of argument.
Yeah.
He asked you a question about whether you could give him an example or two
I get
of
it.
work you have done. And
You can't.
I'm not, it's not clear to me that the answer to that question is yes, here are the 2 examples, or no, I'm not going to do that.
Development of 102 units we took from car wrecking to a sweet,
hear
beautiful
you. Okay,
baby.
where
is
that
it?
project?
In Mamaone by the train station. Okay, enough.
Where is that project? And what is it?
In Mamaone by the train station, we took Westchester County.
Okay.
The biggest rezoning, private
And,
rezoning.
and what's the name of the project?
Sheldrick condominium.
Okay.
LLC.
I think that was an answer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was within the last 10 years?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. Others? Sir?
The flooding on Veely Road, I'm sure you've experienced that from the town
Yeah.
viewpoint,
Again.
where whenever we get really heavy rain, it's better since you raise the road. But if they're gonna do this project, and they've got 200 people back there, and the lights go out, and people wanna go someplace else, and they're not coming through Veely Road, because it's flooded, and you've closed it.
And I might, that's their only exit, that's a problem.
They're gonna go out through
I
there.
think that's where you were going.
Why? Because the Skidmore crossing is closed, let's not go there.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I got you.
Should I answer?
No, that's part of your study.
No, but we presented last time solution.
Right, to raise it.
Well, I can stop this whole thing if you want.
Them taking further remedies to Veely that would prevent that flooding from occurring at all.
No, that's actually.
Yeah, because it's, honestly, I don't mean to demean this, but it's kind of an obvious concern. If your only entrance is coming out in that area that we know floods multiple times a year, that's problematic.
But that's gonna be the same problem if it's a neighborhood of houses, same issue.
No.
And,
which means they
in
wouldn't be
all
able to go.
and in all fairness,
Say
if
that.
somebody proposed a neighborhood full of houses, everybody would be asking exactly the same question, which is, what are you gonna do?
And we're gonna get the same.
But you're right.
With the full simulation, I can show the simulation that actually, first of all, let's understand one thing. All what we say to you on everything that we answer, already environmental engineering review ahead of the secret. But now we will give you the facts again, the facts. First of all, we know that, and I will answer today as well. We know that the water, please turn on the simulation. We know that the water coming, rain coming, go to the creek overflow. I can tell you that in my Mount Lake project, there was the same thing. Sheldrick River was along on the corner, came to the bridge, and the bridge actually got the water that will backfire. And overflowed our side that we had to raise. So what did we do? And this gentleman, I wish that he was here from my neighbors, that shouting on us, and I was going to give answer. Ah, beautiful. So let me give you because no, I love because remember I want to answer to people to show them it's not what they think. So I will answer on 3 things in one time. First of all, go over there to do the simulation. To the main. Number 1, and it's a simulation of engineering and everything.
All right, bottom line is you're gonna address this, I don't need, we've gotta speak.
I don't.
You tell me what
I wanna see it.
That's fine, but you're gonna address it, doesn't mean it's gonna pass, he's gotta go through it, he's gotta
Yeah,
prove
no,
all these things.
but he's thinking about that.
Yeah, no, but the bottom line,
More
only the bottom
importantly,
line.
the town is aware and thinking of it.
Right, we are.
And so we tell you only the bottom line.
Anybody else wanna speak?
That's all we need.
No, it's fine. Others?
Are you guys voting on this to move forward tonight?
I don't know what we're doing on it, but this is just to see if we wanna entertain, even hear it anymore.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I don't know if we're voting on it, but does anybody else got anything else? We're gonna close the public hearing, we're gonna try to talk about it a little bit. Not,
Just
no,
one-
open session.
Just
Public comment.
the vote that you could have is just to have preparation for that new law adjustment, right? That's the only thing you really could vote
Well, if
on.
we wanna hear more, we're gonna discuss it, but we wanna close
If
this.
in fact we do that, yes.
Okay.
It would
We
be
don't know
nothing, it
about
would
it.
certainly have, it would
Everybody's
not
gotta get
involve
their-
any.
It's the only step that you could move forward with, right?
That's correct.
There's no
Other-
proof.
Any other comments? Do you have a motion to close the public
Close
comment?
motion?
Second, all in favor? Aye.
For me, the only thing allowing this, our zoning code wouldn't allow it. Yeah. The only tool they found a tool in our code that has a floating zone law. The issue I had, it was put in many years ago, we're at the point where we're almost full. That's one reason why I don't want to open a comprehensive plan until town center's built. And that's the reason why I proposed a moratorium for all condos and townhouses, which might lock you. I don't know the answer to that, we have to check, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Now, we're gonna close it for a period just so we can discuss what's gonna stay closed or not, but for me, that's exactly what I wanna see. I wanna see the traffic impact the town center. I wanna see how it impacts our town,
Do a study.
because I'm here to do with the constituent. If it's full, it's full. I mean, that's it. So you're right, the timing is horrible for me. B is, our comprehensive plan states for 20-something years that this is the most rural part of our town, correct?
That's correct.
So for me, if you can't convince the constituents of that area, you're wasting your time, for me. So if you don't think you can do that, you're just wasting your time and your money. That's what I have to say for right now, because it is my job to protect that zone of what we agreed was gonna be for the last 20 years. It's a great project, but it's in the rural RLD zone. It's the complete opposite of what we stood for that area. If this was a town center, I'd say I love it. If this was in another part of town, I might say I love it too. But that's the hurdle you have from me. If you can't get the people of that district behind you, you're wasting your time, for my vote. That's what I have to say. Ally?
Agreed. Can
Ally?
I say
Hold on.
something about that?
Hold on.
Not yet. I can.
He can't.
No, but you can make a comment.
What do you think? Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Okay. You may-
Everyone here
Now you can-
is
Okay. So,
and this is only this many people.
right, but how do you feel? What is your feeling on this project?
I think you're gonna waste his money, and I don't wanna see him waste his
Okay,
money.
exactly.
Okay,
Val?
before, right?
I told you at the
Yeah.
beginning that the hurdle you were going to face, because it requires the town board to change zoning to allow it, was that the board would have to feel that the community view this as a positive. Because it is not a project that is an as-of-right project under the current zoning. You're requesting the town board to make an accommodation to allow you to do it. And I told you at the beginning, if the public in that area doesn't view it as a positive thing, that you're gonna have a very, very difficult time getting this board to consider it, much less approve it. It's not clear to me that you cleared that hurdle at all. We've had a couple of public meetings. I don't recall anyone saying that they thought it was good for the town of Lagrange. And we've heard plenty of people who live in the area, direct area, say that they think it's bad for their neighborhood and incompatible with the zoning that is in place, that is why they moved there.
Have you seen?
And I personally don't see the answer to address those concerns at this point. I'd like to hear what Susan has to say when she comes back, but right now, I'm inclined to think that what Al said at the end is short of
It's our
some
responsibility.
indication that the public has changed its mind. I don't know how we move forward with this, and it makes no sense at all for me to consider changing the law only to deny the application when you try to apply the law. That doesn't make any sense at all to me. It's a waste of our time, but way more importantly, it's a waste of your time and money to do that.
I mean, Cal, we've talked to our neighbors, I haven't got one person that wants it.
I will say this, I applaud the effort that you've made to listen to the concerns of the public. And you've made a number of changes to your project, which I think are significant attempts to address those concerns, but it does not appear at this point that they've had the result among the public that I think the board is gonna wanna see. And I think that's just where we are at this point. So my take is, I don't think there's any reason for us to move forward with changing law or doing any of those processes at this point. And whether there's a potential to change people's mind, I guess I don't wanna comment on, but you've said a number of times, you're many months into this. You've obviously spent a lot of money, and you've made a significant effort to try to accommodate the concerns, but it just hasn't borne the fruit that I think you hoped it would. guess that's my observation.
And I really feel that you're not gonna get that, and you keep trying, but I'll be honest with you, what allowed this to happen, if this doesn't move forward, the first thing I wanna do is get rid of that law. Because we've gotta decide as a community, we're getting to the end, we're getting full, what we want, we have to stick to it. I don't wanna have to worry that the next guy that's in my seat is gonna change his mind and pass something that's this difference.
That's why we have terms.
The people of this town, so that's
Absolutely.
What he said. What you said.
I know.
What put together with
No, you've done a great job. Listen, I'm not attacking you.
No, but just a second, if I may. Okay, we go like this. First of all, it's a difficult one. Number one, we know from all the history that people, and rightfully, don't like change. We know another thing for a fact. Whoever don't want the change, from the reason that can be correct, like Dave, if I may ask, it's something that relates to you as well.
Go ahead.
Dave don't want the project because he has a concern, a real concern. He haven't been here on the November 15th that we have a full simulation.
I watched the video.
You saw the simulation.
Don't think I'm not paying attention.
No, wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
So we showed.
Don't call me out on that, pal. I'm
Okay,
watching
that's a
everything.
second, my friend. So
I don't
we
want to
showed-
have to say this again. I don't want
No,
you
no,
guys
no,
to get
no,
it
no,
wrong.
no,
Just
no,
let me
no,
know.
no, no. All
My
I
advice
want
to
to
you, if I might make it, to try to short circuit this,
Yes.
your comment is, I believe, that if people don't support this project, it's because they don't adequately understand the facts. It's not clear to me that that's true. It appears to me that they do understand all of the facts. They understand what you have said in terms of it being positive and all that. They just don't buy it.
Just a second.
And that's a very different thing, okay?
Wonderful, but-
I would not, I think it's insulting to imply that people don't understand, when they may very well understand, they just don't agree.
No, I didn't say
Those are
understand,
two
but
very
we don't
different
even
things.
see.
So-
No, you said we were idiots if we didn't.
No,
know.
ignorant.
Ignorant.
The word was ignorant
No,
you used.
no.
You did. No, you gave three
To
scenarios. You
be
did.
clear, there's a difference
You
between
did.
ignorance and stupidity.
No.
Ignorance means that you don't understand the facts.
No, not knowledgeable.
He
I
gave
just
all
don't
three
think that's
scenarios.
true either.
He gave all three
The
scenarios.
ignorance, it's about not having the knowledge, but just a second. When I did not, and I can show you, that actually, just a second, I'm not going to answer to you, I just want to go quickly. The gentleman that came over here, the people that have a concern, etc. I see 10, 15 people. And I'm not saying, because I was from day one, everyone that came to me, I showed, I actually went back to our engineer and our environmental, for example, for the roads of Barbara, for you saying the backward water, and we came with a solution that actually is not even relevant to our project. In a moment, please listen to me. And even though we poured money, we brought engineering, so it's not me saying, it's not, you don't need to believe me. It's already been done by engineer. For example, Brian from Desa Costa, you know who it is. Well, you do not believe him, you don't believe him. But we know that there is 15 people here that have concern.
Say your breath.
Listen to
You're
your
missing the
concern.
point. We just don't want it.
Just a
That's
second.
it. Plain and simple.
Okay, I'm
You
going
can
to show
talk
you
all
something.
the engineering,
Okay.
ramble jabble
Okay.
all you want. You had a great speech. You gave a great speech, and I listened to you.
Please let me speak.
You're
Please let me speak.
rambling for nothing.
What do you say? Okay, so we see 15 people here. 10 of them came and says that one of them on the culture that we're familiar and we get solution on our land. All what I'm trying to say to you, there is 16,000 people in this town, 17,000 people.
I don't
Now usually, just a second. So usually people that like a project or don't have a problem with the project do not come and raise for office. They don't get money from me. I did not wait and I could spend $100,000 and to pay $100 to person or whatever politics do. We did not do that. People that love the project. I went outside from every town meeting here and people came and shook my hand and said, beautiful, I love the project. People came to me like they call you. So we have the
You never knocked on my door.
Just a second.
You
Now-
never knocked on my
Hold on, hold
door.
on. Now we took the project, 490 acres, and we divided by 3 acres. Now, I will show you now simulation. If we do not do these projects, we have to move forward. We have nothing else to give. We gave everything. We asked nothing. We gave beautiful benefits. We had so many tens of millions. We show you only more and more and more. What do you want? Let's go with the simple answer.
Hold on.
No, hold on to what you say. So what do you want? You want to take this land and to build houses of 3 acres? We said 650 square foot on 3 acres. What do you want? We're going to build it. We're going to develop it as of right. I can go to my architect. Yes, I can go to my architect today. I can do a plan. Please, please listen to me. We don't want to do that. That was easy. We could go to an architect today. We can design the sublet of 3 acres based on the wetland or whatever it is and build houses. It's an R&D as of right. And we don't come before you. We come to the planning board. But we don't want to do that.
Okay, listen. This is where you're wrong. This town, you said doesn't want to see, you said this town doesn't want to see change. We are going to see the biggest change of our lives, and we've all lived here.
Put a moratorium on all building.
The town center is a huge project for us. Scares the hell out of even me. That's going to start this spring.
And you're not ready for it.
You're at the wrong time. It's huge, and
He said Lagrange is not rural.
Not contradict, because we're hospitality, we're no more houses.
you have no support for this project.
But from whom?
And from whom? From the people that live in that corridor.
But I've been paying taxes all my life here.
What is this going to cost
You want to buy
us?
my house? You want to buy my house? I'll move. Give me 50.
But we don't do it. Continue to float, my friend.
Buy us all out.
We are doing engineering, we're investing money to show to this gentleman that
Doesn't matter. Get another 10, 15 million. Buy us all out.
That is enough of everybody.
Thank you.
What do we want to do?
I know a good
I want to make a motion. Do we want to, I don't want to hear any more about this project.
Nope.
I'm done. I want to make a motion now. I don't want to hear any more about it. I'm done with this project. I don't want to hear
You're
about
making a motion
that we do not entertain to change a floating zone for that area. Here. Second. Richie? Yes, Alan?
You can't vote.
Done. I can't vote. We're done. Okay. Make a motion for the public hearing.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Can I ask
No, what he's trying to say is, he's trying to say the Listen, I saved you a lot of money, believe me. They wouldn't have never went. I'm telling you, your police just got fixed. I know these people. If it wasn't facing town Come on, I'll walk you out. Now we can look at
So what the engineer said, it's only when it's
whatever, let it come give it a breather and how many in the town center? Fairly, like I said, I'm a business. I'm fairly open, and I try and listen, I just want to spread out. I'm not saying no, I'm saying no today, I'm saying no tomorrow. But I do want to
You know what? I said, you're never going to hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. That ain't good. That ain't good.
Yes. I'm not saying no, I'm saying no today. That's just how I can't believe they let me talk.
Listen, I did that presentation
He lost his ass, he spent $300,000 on lawyers, and he won $25,000.
He was my best friend. He turned out to be fired me. Well, that's not how it was.
I'll see you guys later.
I will tell you. So it doesn't bore me. It never bores me.
Give that dog a little man, you were fired up.
Sometimes this stuff is less so, which doesn't mean I call it out on that.
Whatever it is,
But just in terms of that I think if you want to get over it. Yes, that's what I was gonna do. It's like Which, honestly, one of the big challenges in general. What you said is that's okay. They talk to people on their own. And even though they did not have and say they
You wanna know
were
mine?
stewards, what's your dreams? Talk to people. It's like,
Would you rather have that?
How do you know where it is?
You know how to drive on Michael. That's no problem. Come over that way.
They literally don't know.
I can't have anything to do with it.
Whatever you smoke.
That's the challenge. And remember, we had a conversation with
I don't have a problem.
But I told you. So now I'm going to it's a bad idea.
I think they should turn these people away the first day they got it.
They asked you
6 months.
These
We don't get it. That's the point. So I would point is, are you sure? I don't see it. In fact, it works the opposite way. It's not intuitive, but the school has tests, and every student without the incremental cost. Because they've got the rooms, they've got the teachers. So right now, this, and just so you know, the opposite. 15 years ago, I bought the one. Because, it's just not sure. So that's not. And by the way, I think many actors is a great. And I'm not allowed to.
I retired.
It's painful for me. I'm looking at this 20% hey, respect house. Everybody we can, and I will do, I just wanted to. No, this is not a